Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast, the space for entrepreneurs on a quest for unwavering certainty and purpose. I'm your host, Lauren, and each episode is a compass guiding you through authentic conversations, unraveling the mysteries of your human design chart, and offering tools from the remarkable guest. Join me as we embark on a journey to manifest greatness and create a life aligned with our deepest purpose. This is the space where misfits find their enlightenment. Welcome to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Welcome back to the Enlightened Misfits podcast. I am your host, Lauren, and in today's episode, you get me. I'm going to do a solo episode today. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm recording this now. It is Thursday, July 24th. It is the new moon in Leo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out this podcast by a little intention for the new moon, and I'm going to pull a card for us. So let me just pull a card for us really quickly. Look at that. It just flew out. You're not going to believe it. So we have the moon in Leo. It says, let your inner hero out. Look at that card. Literally just flew out. Spirit must have been like, she just said, moon in Leo. So what this has to do with, I'm going to read from the book, but what this has to do with is all about, stepping into our inner hero. I'm going to read from the book. This you want to check this out. I got it on Amazon. It's the Zodiac Moon reading cards by Patsy Bennett. Love her stuff. So what she says is, your profile and self-esteem can blossom now. Invest time into yourself, promote your abilities, and be a peacock. Celebrate. You may be at your peak, so enjoy being respected and the center of attention. Leo energy. In other words, you're a hero. You are at the top of your game, riding the crest of the wave, fulfilling your needs to shine as brightly as you can. Be aware that there's two sides to being a hero. You may have reached a goal, but you must be guarded against laziness and pride. It doesn't take too much to fall to grace. You can birth a new circumstance, but must take nothing for granted. Leaner times may lie ahead. With careful planning, you can achieve your goals and reobtain success. Avoid competition and one-upmanship, as they could lead to a false sense of self-importance and ultimately be the downfall to a false sense of self-importance and ultimatums to your downfall. A strong sense of gratitude and compassion for others will lead your talent in a positive light and add to the cycle of increasing good fortune. You may feel particularly creative and wish to shout out your ideas from the rooftops. You may also feel particularly generous, but it's important that your generosity is channeled in worthiness caused by your risk, squandering your finances and wasting good intentions on the unworthy calls or being taken advantage of. The peacock in you may wish to show off, but if you feel threatened by others, your position may be subject to jealousy and your rivals may feel provoked to teach you a lesson. So ensure you maintain perspective and balance. And the card is 17. You might be seeing a lot of ones lately, sevens lately. This is right on target for what I'm going to chat with you about. So a lot of you have been asking about my story and how I avoided burnout, a little bit about my personal story, I should say. So I'm going to kind of go into that. So first things first, what I'm going to kind of peel back the layers of my journey that I rarely talk about publicly. I do talk about it on podcasts, obviously when I'm asked. But here I'm going to talk more about the different layers. So kind of like more like behind the scenes on how I went from completely burnout, diagnosed with burnout twice clinically, bitterness and second guessing everything, to how I created a business that feels sacred and basically an extension of my soul. So a business built on rest, real alignment, and not just by pressure, perfectionism, and proving myself to people. And the wildest part is it didn't even happen through my strategy. It actually happened when I met human design. Specifically, when I discovered that I was a 6/2 emotional projector, everything changed. So I suddenly understood myself, my energy, and my unique role in the collective that I was here to play when I had more clarity than ever. So this podcast episode is especially for the healers, the feelers, the space holders, the empaths, anybody that has ever felt like the right way to do business just doesn't fit for them. Let me remind you, you're not broken. You're just not built for the hustle, especially my projectors out there. So let me kind of go through step by step. The first layer would be like my burnout era, is what I call it. So let's just kind of rewind for a moment. Everything like cracked. Let's start there. So one of my busiest seasons, maybe you've been there, maybe you've been there with me. I've had a packed calendar, back-to-back session clients. I've had all this, content to film. I had all these launches to prepare for, DMs to answer, emails to answer, constantly showing up, constantly giving. And I was doing everything right, according to the rules that I thought I had to follow. But I was completely running empty. So there's one week that I can particularly remember waking up with like a lump in my chest and my throat. I had a client that I loved and adored. She's still in my world today. She probably knows who she is when I'm saying this. But I thought another Zoom call might make me cry. My body felt heavy. My emotions were all over the place. I was second guessing everything that I posted. Even small decisions felt like they were huge boulders. So obviously I ignored these signs and I just needed more recovery time. So I canceled her appointment and realized I can't do this anymore. I don't think coaching's for me. I don't think mentoring's for me. I don't think mediumship's for me. I don't think this is for me anymore. I think I'm just going to stop doing it, right? That was when saying yes to things before truly feeling through them, my authority, that I was chasing recognition like it was a drug to me. But what I got was I just didn't feel right. So then I thought maybe I should cut out this, cut out that. Maybe I'm lazy. Maybe I'm just not doing it right. But then the truth came in. I wasn't lazy. I was just misaligned. I was operating like a generator in a projector body. I'm sure some of you got projectors out there can definitely resonate with me when I say that. Right? So fast forward to that particular moment, right? This is when I kind of discovered my design. So, like one does, doom scrolling. It was probably 2018, 2019, when I was on Instagram and I was doom scrolling and this thing popped up and it was like, find out your human design chart, right? So I put in my information and I was like, human design. Oh my goodness. Didn't think anything of it. Probably like 6 months later, I did it again. probably when I was at like the lowest part of my life. And it was like human design just kind of found me. A lot of people ask me, oh, how did you find human design? Why did it resonate? It didn't resonate at first. It's like, what is this? Oh my God, this is not me. I think I have my wrong birth date. Nope, that was me. I was just operating, like I said earlier, misaligned. So one of the breadcrumb moments of my life, I didn't even remember who I was. When I found myself looking through my chart, I expected nothing. I saw the words like 6'2" emotional projector. I had no idea what the hell that meant. So here it is. I'm like, maybe I should figure it out. Just got like a download and I was like, maybe you should figure it out. Okay, great. Figure it out. Right? So I started reading, I started studying, I started listening. Piece by piece by piece, I made everything make sense. I wasn't meant to grind. I was here to guide. Great. That sounds good to me, right? Nothing I ever practiced, known, anything. I wasn't flaky or emotional. Like everybody called me, I'm too emotional. I use my emotions to manipulate people. I use, I'm too this, I'm too that. I have an emotional authority and my clarity comes in waves, right? Sound good to me? That made sense. I wasn't here to build a 8-hour day or 11-hour day at the time that I worked, right? 10-hour day. I work in short bursts, potent, very like short, potent bursts. And I wasn't here to initiate or chase. I was here to wait for the invitation and to be recognized. And I know you projectors, I know there's a lot of fluffy stuff on the internet about recognition and invitations, but there's actually like a very like science to waiting for to be recognized and the invitation. Okay. So when I went through all of this stuff, I had time to sit down with my chart and kind of go through stuff after learning, educating myself, and teaching myself. I realized that somebody literally, whoever that was on the internet, somebody's ad, whatever, with human design, just handed me an instruction manual for how I'm actually supposed to operate. So I remember that night, and I wrote this down, went through my journals, especially when I was like, I got to tell my story, my raw story. I got to go find my journal. So this morning, I was like, I got to go find my journal, what I journaled through that time. And what I pulled out was what I wrote in my journal that day is I no longer have to earn rest. I have to honor it. And that was so, so, so powerful for me because that was literally the beginning of my journey. Well, of my business journey. I was like, I have to share all of this stuff. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So now that I run my business aligned to my design, let's get real for a second. Okay. So what changed was tangibly and energetically. So I prioritized rest like I was my own CEO of my life. I used rest like a dessert, something that you earn after working hard enough. That's literally how I used to treat myself. I have to work really hard and then I get to rest. Now, rest is the strategy for me. And it should be for everybody else too. No matter what human design that you have, rest is really important. It doesn't matter if you're a projector. It doesn't matter, obviously projectors need to honor rest. Like when they're tired, they need to just rest, deconnect or disconnect, sit in nature, really honor yourself because it's really, really important. So what I do now when I block my schedule, I block off my entire mornings or days for solitude. I plan my offers around my energy, not the algorithm. I give myself space before and after classes, master classes, client calls, launches, if I'm on events, Sometimes I even have only like a 2 to 3 hour workday. It's not laziness. It's just affection. It's just efficiency. Literally, I guess I was going to say infection for myself. It's efficiency for me. Like I could work 5 hours a day, or I could be really busy. Like yesterday was a really busy day for me. Today's not so much. I have the podcast, I have a couple other things that I have to do, but that's it. And I feel fulfilled. It's actually where the less that this is the craziest thing. The less that I do, and I'm not saying I just sit here and all this stuff comes to me and my life is whatever. No, I have to do the masculine part of my business, which is the action, right? But I don't have to constantly chase money. I don't have to constantly burn out, literally burn out to get money. Because if you're burnt out and you don't want to do anything and you're depressed and you have anxiety and you have this and that, how are you using your money? You're not. You're just, depressed. You don't want to be here, So the other thing that I wrote down was my value does not come from doing. It comes from seeing, holding, and guiding. That was another one of my must have been a download in my journal. It's really powerful. So the second part to this is waiting for the recognition and invitation. So I stopped cold pitching, like how I was taught, and I stopped forcing timelines. And what I mean by that is I stopped forcing things to be in my energy. I stopped forcing things to happen. I stopped keeping people in my life just so they can be in my life. Everybody, I know this might be triggering for a lot of people, but everybody has a expiration date. And you need to make sure that that person's expiration date, when it comes, when you get that intuitive nudge, you let them go. And I'm not saying this to scare people. Some people, are here for a lifetime, but some people are only here for a season. A lot of people come to me, they're for lessons for myself. And I'm probably lessons for them. I mean, I know I'm lessons for them too, but that's up to them if they want to, learn that lesson. Because it'll just show up some other way in their business life, personal life, whatever, So now when I create content that feels like an invitation, it's energetic. It's sacred. It resonates. So let me give you a little bit of an example of this, okay? Because this might not be making sense to some projectors. So an example, once I posted a voice note and I was outside. So you could hear the birds, you could hear the wind, you could hear all that stuff. There's no call to action. It was only frequency transmission. Within a day, I had somebody message me, I don't know what this is, but I need to work with you. It was that power of alignment. I was out in nature, I was outside. I was just walking around and I decided to send a voice note. I also said no to opportunities that were not clean either. And every time I said no, something better showed up because I trusted what it meant for me to feel true. Okay. That is very, very, very powerful because you can't fake frequency. It's just what it is, These people that are posting things online and they're in the low vibration and they're in low frequency, that's why they're not making sales. Contrary to the popular belief, that's exactly what it is. So the third part to this is emotional authorities, riding the emotional wave. So before I used to say yes right away, and I'm sure some of you would resonate with this, afraid the opportunity will disappear. Now I pause, even when it's something feels good for me, but I wait to see how I feel the next day. So your wave is like your wisdom. I might journal, I might walk, I might talk to myself out loud and just let it land. Feel into it. Some people say, let me feel into this, you know? That is somebody with an emotional authority that is huge. Because your power as an emotional authority, your power is in the pause. Okay? That's really powerful when you start to practice being an emotional authority. There's not many of us that have emotional authorities, and there's not much content or guidance around it. I just feel like us emotional authorities should speak about our experiences, and that's how we gain more wisdom around it, how to use it. So the the last part to this is honoring my 6-2 profile. So pull your chart if you're listening to this and look at your profile, see what your profile is. It's going to consist of 2 lines. The first line for me, I'm just going to talk for me, is line 6. So if you have a line 6 in your profile, depending on wherever it is, this also could be for you. So line 6 is the role model, the role model. Learn. So I've lived it, the hard chapters, the initiations, the shadows, the burning down old identities. Now I can guide from embodiment, not from theory. Science is all about, like, science is great, right? It's theory, it's hypotheses, it's research, it's case studies, it's this, it's that. Your human design uses both, but this part I'm talking about is embodiment. It's not by theory of like, if this happens, this is going to happen, you know? Line 2 is the hermit. So if you have a line 2 in your profile, the same thing, the hermit. Like I said earlier, and when I started, about solitude isn't an option. It's literally, if you have a 2 in your line profile, it's a necessity to you. Make sure that you have it either daily, every couple days, or weekly. And I don't want to hear the excuse of, I mean, I know everybody has excuse. Oh, I'm a mom. I have this, I have that, I have to work. Figure out how you can be by yourself. And if you can't be by yourself because you're choosing not to be by yourself, because we all get to make a choice, right? Then you have to figure out why. Ask yourself why. It's probably because you don't want to sit with your thoughts, or it's probably because you can't face yourself, or whatever it is. Really ask yourself why. So for me, the clearest downloads that happen for me is literally when I'm in silence, not looking at my phone, not on my computer, not with my daughter, not with Joe, like my husband, not with Joey, not with my family, not with friends, not with clients, by myself in silence. Literally, if you just sit in a chair and you just listen, that's for me the clearest downloads. And it doesn't have to be for 2 hours. It could be for 5 minutes. Figure out what's going on with yourself. Because if you're looking at the outside world and there's projections, that person is just projecting back to what you feel inside. That's all that is. And I know that can be very triggering to hear, but that's what it is. And I don't know if some of you seen my post on social media, but there is a certain situation that has happened in my life, definitely karma, not for me, for the other person, but I was their karma. And no matter what I said in that conversation, whatever, nothing would get through to them because all they were doing was projecting. And I knew that. So I sat in silence. Not that I have nothing to say. Oh, I have a whole lot to say, but I don't need to say it. I did what I could do. I said what I could say, showed them what I could show them in the last couple of years. And it's just, the universe, it's very orchestrated by the universe that it's just it's just, I'm not for, their expiration date, right? Okay. Not getting on that tangent, but silence, literally, if you stay silent, and I'm not saying not use your throat chakra and not talk about it, because I have a lot to talk about, which I don't need to talk about that situation anymore. But I'm moving past that. I'm way past that. Way past that. That I realize that the truth will come out. The truth, not their truth, not my truth, both of us. And having that energy around you is just, you have to protect your solitude like it's your business depends on it. And you have to protect your peace like your business depends on it. If somebody else is trying to say, you did this, you did this, you did this, and they're not taking any of accountability or responsibility for what they're doing, please run away. Please run away, because they are going to, that is not peace. That is not solitude. That is not somebody you need around you. Okay. I'm going to get off that soapbox. Okay. So now what I've done is I'm going to kind of showcase practically what business shifts I made. Okay. So this isn't about mindset. I'm talking real tangible changes. So one thing is I dropped one-on-one offers that drained me, even if they made money. Okay. So if it was a one-on-one client that was draining me, I had to either put them in my membership or put them in my Voxer support, something like that. But it was more, I was not meeting them one-on-one. Like it was not one-on-one sessions. It was not the one-on-one container anymore. Okay. And some of you might be thinking, oh my God, that's income, that's whatever. But here's the thing. Listen to what I said earlier. When you are honoring your energy, the universe will match that. I was not honoring my energy if somebody is draining me. Even if it was for money, that's more pride. That's more greed, So if you're an entrepreneur and people are draining you, you need to drop them, put them in another membership, put them in your free group, put them, maybe in another container that you have. I don't completely just drop people and be like, see you later. I'll put them in a membership. So it's not, if they don't have consuming my one-on-one attention all the time, or my Voxer support, which is still a lot of my one-on-one attention, but you see what I'm saying. And then I created a group container that allowed me to show up powerfully and then rest. So my group container, I always show up, but I also get to rest in between the times that I don't need to show up. I also only open my calendar now for 2 to 3 days a week. I do not have it 5 days a week. One day is more admin stuff. I will shift stuff around if I need to. I don't normally work on Mondays or Fridays. Usually I'll do podcast episodes on Fridays, like I'm being on another podcast, or like stuff that I need to do in my business on Fridays. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is more of like clients or something like that, or it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, but I only make sure I open my calendar each week, 2 to 3 days a week, usually more 3 days. Depends on how I feel. And then I also I'm in the process right now of creating, why I'm talking about this, is creating a funnel. So it's like a quiz that invites people, aligned clients, in when I'm resting. So I have that, I'm building that quiz right now. So I can still have some type of funnel, some, kind of engagement, all that stuff, I also give myself my launches longer runway when I do launches. Like if it's in the process also of building a virtual online retreat. So I will give myself tons of time for that. So I don't feel like I have high pressure I feel like I have countdowns that are so high pressure that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, I always put all my energy into it, but I'm not putting so much pressure on me to get it done in a week, or get it done. It's taken me a couple weeks, I probably have it done in the next couple months. You'll hear about it, or the next month, I should say. I also let my story do the talking now, not sales or psychology. Okay. So I'm not like doing, I don't care about, um, what are they called? Um, they're always in my DMs. Schedulers or whatever. I don't need to have 20 people on my schedule a day. I don't want that. Oh my God, no. I would be like, cancel my whole book. I don't want that. I know that some people think that that's money and that's how you make money, but that's definitely not. So now pretty much through all of this, so practical business shifts for me, I just sell through my soul, not through stress. Okay. And then the last part of this is the invitation for others. So here is my invitation to you. Okay. This is my question. I really want you guys to think about it. What if your burnout wasn't a sign of failure, but a sign that you're meant to build your business, but a sign that you're not, let me emphasize that, build your business like everybody else? Let me ask you another question. What if alignment feels easier than you thought? Not because you're avoiding work, but because you're finally working with your own truth. And today, I want you to release this today. Doesn't need to be a full moon for to release it. What is one area where you need to release a should? Stop shooting on yourself, right? That's what we always talk about. And honor your natural energy today. So maybe that is canceling a call. Maybe that's turning off Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, wherever you are. Maybe that when you turn that Instagram or you turn that social media off, it's maybe journaling about how your soul what your soul actually wants. And I did a like 6-minute video over on my TikTok. I'm going to put it on my YouTube too. Probably when you're listening to this, it'll be a week out after, but go look at that video because I did a whole 5 questions that you can ask yourself with this new moon. You can still ask yourself this a week later. I want you to go take a look you can journal about those questions and answers. And I just want I want to remind you that your design is not an ultimatum. It's liberation. It's freeing up all that stuff that you feel like you need to do. I want you to stop feeling like you need to create a business and tell yourself that you're here to create a legacy. Okay? I know this was a little bit longer of an solo episode, but I hope that you've gained some wisdom out of it. And I really want to invite you over to our Enlightened Misfits Sisterhood. If you're just a soulful entrepreneur or you're just craving support, we have monthly calls over there. You get my one-on-one support. You can post your content for other people to engage with, support you. You have an opportunity to teach classes over there. You get hot seat coaching with me at the end of the month, every month. You also get, every week we get shit done hour, which could literally just be you folding laundry, you cleaning your house, whatever it is. You can just do that on the call. We just kind of meet for accountability there to just get stuff done that we need to get done. It could be in your business. It could be in your personal life. It could be just making content. We just all get on this call and it just like we just all support each other. Okay. So like I said, go do that. Also check out my new mentorship for mediumship sessions. I also still have some human design. Before I revamp my human design readings, I still have them. Also my 90-minute what am I saying? Oh, intense business readings. Also like working through something in your business, if it's trauma healing, but simply I invite you to DM me also, or send me a message what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. So basically, if you're a projector, hopefully you've learned that invitation cycles through connection. Thank you so much for being here, and make sure that you don't forget to subscribe, leave a review so I can make more content like this and I can share all the amazing guests still on my podcast, supporting all of us. And if you feel that share this with somebody that you feel that would gain knowledge from listening. Stay tuned for more captivating conversations in the future. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next week. Thank you for joining us on another enlightening episode on the Enlightened Misfits podcast. If you are a current or inspiring to be fempreneur, suffering from the fear of being seen and or feel very triggered when you're building your business, reach out to me at the Mermaid Light about my Rich and Resilient Biz Baddies. This is a collective text message Voxer support group designed to help you heal your triggers and turn imposter syndrome into bad bitch energy. If you resonate with our conversations and insight, don't forget to subscribe, rate the show, and leave a review. Your feedback fuels our mission. Remember, your journey to unwavering certainty and purpose is ongoing. So please make sure you stay connected with us on social media. Keep manifesting greatness in your life. Until next time, this is Lauren from the Enlightened Misfits podcast. Stay enlightened, stay inspired, and keep manifesting your extraordinary path.